everybody knows and loves NPCs and Blox Fruits. There's a total of 4 different type of NPCs. There's the shop NPCs, the Blox Fruit dealer, the Blox Fruit gacha, the malicious NPCs. These are people that usually sell you accessories, the quest NPCs, and then there's enemy NPCs. And these are the NPCs that you fight to gain your levels in Blox Fruit. So at the first island of the game, the Pirate Starter Island, you can find the Blox Fruit dealer. It sells your fruit. Sometimes they're in stock and sometimes they're not. Then we got the sword dealer, and this is where most people buy their first item in the game. You can purchase the cutlass or katana from this guy. Then you have the set home point person, and this guy is literally on every single island in Blox Fruits. You just set your spawn point at that island. Then we got the marine recruiter. If you click on him, then you can switch your side to a marine. Then we got the boat dealer, and this guy's also on every single island. He spawns in a boat. And then we got the luxury boat dealer, and for this one, if you have the faster boats game pass, then you can spawn boats from this guy. Then we got the marine starter island, and then we have the exact same NPCs as the other island, but instead of a marine recruiter, you got a pirate recruiter at this island. Moving on to the next island, we got Middletown, and for this one, we have the weapons dealer. You can buy the slingshot, musket, and flintlock. 3 starter guns that most people buy. Then we got the aura editor. Pretty simple. You can just change the stages of your aura. Then we got robot mega, and this guy just does a bunch of random stuff. Then we got the experienced captain, and by talking to this guy, you can enter the second sea if you fit the requirements. Next island is the jungle, and at this one, we got the Blox Fruit gacha. I think everyone knows this one, but if you talk to him, he'll give you a random physical fruit. Next up is the Pirate Village, and for this one, we got the Sword Dealer of the West. Sells you 2 swords, the Dual Katana and the Iron Mace. Then we got the Dark Step Teacher, and if you talk to him, you can purchase the Dark Step fighting style if you have enough belly. Then we got the Rich Man, and this guy is a part of the quest to get to the second sea. And moving on to the desert, we have an NPC called Hassan, and he sells you a swordsman hat that gives you plus 10% damage with your sword. Next up, moving on to the Frozen Village, you have the Sword Dealer of the East, and this guy sells you the Triple Katana and the Pipe. Then we got the Abilities Teacher, and this is a really crucial NPC that everyone needs to talk to. He sells you 3 different abilities: Hockey, Sky Jump, and Flash Step. And you definitely need these if you want to complete the game. Then we got the Sick Man, and this guy's also a part of the quest to get into the second sea. Then we got the Doghouse Indra NPC, and this NPC also just tells you a bunch of random stuff, but you also get a hint for the Darkblade V2. Moving on to Marine Fortress, you got the Advanced Weapon Dealer here. He sells you the Refined Slingshot, the Refined Flintlock, and a cannon. Next island is Skylands, and here you can find the Master Sword Dealer. He sells you the Dual-Headed Blade and the Becento. Then we got the Mad Scientist, who's actually not located at Skylands, but really close to it. And this guy sells you the Electric Fighting style. And at the very top, which is Upper Sky, here you can find the Instinct Teacher, and this guy sells you Observation, which is a really crucial ability to finishing the game. Moving on to the prison, we have the Blox Fruit Remover, and if you talk to him, then he can literally remove your Blox Fruit. Not sure why anyone would want to do this though. Moving on to the Magma Village, you have the Living Skeleton NPC, and he sells you the Soul Cane, and he also looks a bit creepy. Next up is the Underwater City. You'll find the Water Kung Fu Teacher, and just like the name says, you can buy the Water Kung Fu ability from it. Moving on, we got Fountain City, and even though this is the final island of the first sea, there aren't really any relevant NPCs here, except for the quest givers. Alright, so moving on to the second sea, in the Kingdom of Rose, you can find the Cyborg NPC, and this Cyborg NPC sells you a flower ship, literally one of the NPCs in the games that sells you a boat. Next up is Trevor, and Trevor is a part of the quest to get to the third sea. And once you speak to him, you have to trade him a fruit that's worth more than 1 million belly, once you meet the requirement. Next up is Sabi, and you can buy the Dragon's Breath fighting style, which you can later upgrade to Dragon Talon. Next is the Mysterious Entity, and this NPC was previously known as Wenlock Toad over Heaven. Once you talk to this NPC, you can choose which version of your fruit to have, whether you want to have it in the Unawakened version or the Awakened version. Moving on to the Colosseum, we have King Redhead, and is an NPC that was added in Update 15. And you can only talk to him once you're level 1500 or higher. And once you accept his quest, you'll be teleported to an island to fight Rip Indra, which is a part of the quest to go to the third sea. Next up is the Cafe, and here there are a bunch of NPCs. First one is Tort. If you give him 3000 fragments, then he'll change your race to another random one. And talking to this NPC is the only way to change your race in the game without Robux. Next up is the Blox Fruit Gacha, and he's pretty simple. You just talk to him and he gives you a random physical fruit. Then we have the Bounter/Honor Expert, and this person tells you how much extra damage you do to players depending on what your bounty is. The next NPC is called Bartillo, and he gives you a quest which is one of the requirements to upgrade your race to V2. Then we got the Awakenings Expert, and he lets you change the level of your fruit's awakening. Next up, we got the color specialist, and this person lets you change what color your aura is. Then we got the title specialist, and this guy lets you change what title you have and what color the title is. Then we got the nerd, and this is by far one of the most useful NPCs. If you talk to him while having an accessory equipped, he tells you exactly what that accessory gives you, because there's no other way to find out. And on the bridge, there's an NPC called Plokester, and if you give him 2,500 fragments, he resets all your stat points. Players mostly use this for changing their playstyle. Moving on to the green zone, we got the alchemist, and this person gives you the quest to awaken your race to V2. Then we got the mysterious man NPC, and this is an NPC all the way at the top of the green zone. He will sell you the true triple katana if you have the requirements for it. And then we got Mr. Captain. It takes you into the third sea, but obviously you need to have the quest completed along with the requirements. Moving on to the graveyard, we have the crew captain. It sells crew slots, but you can only use this if you're a captain of a crew. And for each crew slot, you have to pay 2,000 fragments to unlock one more. Then we got Rip_Indra. Let you switch the skin of your dark blade. You can switch it to its default variation or the Slayer skin variation. Moving on to the Snow Mountains, this is actually a pretty special place because you can get the superhuman fighting style from the martial arts teacher, and it's one of the best in the whole game. Moving on to the Hot and Cold Island, we have it called Ultra Medic, and this NPC sells you a microchip in exchange for 1,000 fragments. Then we got the Mysterious Scientist, and you can buy a microchip to start your raid with. Moving on to the Cursed Ship, we actually got a bunch of special NPCs here. We got the El Rodolph NPC, and what this guy does is he sells you a bizarre rifle for 25 ectoplasm. Then we got the El Admin NPC who sells you the Midnight Blade for 100 ectoplasm. Moving on, we got the El Perro NPC, and he sells you a Ghoul Mask for 50 ectoplasm, and this is pretty good for grinding with the Buddha fruit, so I recommend you guys to get it. Next up is the Experiment, and if you talk to him for 100 ectoplasm and a Hellfire Torch, which you can get from killing the Cursed Captain, this NPC will change your race to Ghoul. Next up is the Gunishima, and if you talk to this NPC, he'll tell you the amount of ectoplasm you have in your inventory, but he's pretty useless because you can literally just check that yourself. Moving on to the Ice Castle, we got an NPC called Fiona the Reformed, and what this NPC does is it sells you the Death Step fighting style, which is a pretty powerful fighting style for grinding CBs. Moving on to the final island of the second sea, we got Digrok the Sharkman, and this guy sells you Sharkman Karate, if you have the requirements, of course. The most powerful fighting style for grinding in the whole game. Alright, moving on to the third sea, the first island port town, and here is the experienced captain, and if you talk to him, he takes you back to the second sea. Of course, we got the Blox Fruit Theater, like every first island on a new sea. Then we got the Master of Auras, which lets you change the level of aura that you want to be shown. Then we got Hydra Island, and here we got the Arena Trainer NPC. It gives you the quest for a training dummy, which is a pretty good way to get your hands on 200 fragments. But you can only equip the quest every hour. Then we got the Great Tree Island, and here we got the Crew Captain, the same NPC as the one in the second sea. Then we got the Mysterious Force NPC, and this helps you unlock your race V4. Moving on to the Floating Turtle Island, we got the Crypt Master. He will open the door to the dual katana puzzle room, but keep in mind you have to be at least level 2200 to start this quest. Then we got the Citizen, and helps you start your quest for your Instinct V2, but you have to be at least level 1800 to do this one. Then we got the Ancient Monk, teaches you the God-Human fighting style, the strongest fighting style for PvP in the whole of Blox Fruits, but you need literally every single other fighting style in the game to be at level 300 to get this one. Then we got the Previous Hero NPC, and if you talk to him, he'll let you do a quest to get the Electric Claw fighting style. Then we got the Hungry Man NPC, the exact same one that's on the first sea. Then we got the Horned Man NPC, and this NPC is a quest to get the Rainbow Aura color. And you have to defeat these bosses in order to get it. The Stone Boss, the Island Empress, the Kilo Admiral, Captain Elephant, and the Beautiful Pirate. Moving on to the Haunted Castle Island, we have the Death King. And if you talk to him, he'll literally let you roll a bunch of different random surprises as long as you have 50 bones to give him. Next up, we got the Uzoth NPC, and he gives you the Dragon Talon fighting style if you have the requirements. Fire Essence, 3 million belly, and 5,000 fragments. Pretty costly if you ask me. Then we got the Weird Machine NPC, and he lets you do the puzzle to unlocking the Soul Guitar, which is the most powerful gun in Blox Fruits, but then again, it's a gun. Then we got the Ghost NPC, who's also a part of the puzzle to unlocking the Soul Guitar. Then we got the Gravestone NPC. Pretty weird, a literal talking gravestone. And with this NPC, you have a chance of getting some pretty decent stuff. Moving on to the Sea of Treats. we have the Sick Scientist. The Sick Scientist is an NPC whose sole purpose is literally for just unlocking the Phoenix Raid. It cannot be spoken to unless the user has a 400 mastery on their Phoenix Raid. If you fit those requirements, then they'll let you buy an advanced microchip which costs 1000 fragments, and then you can do the Phoenix Raid with that. Next up is the Cake Scientist, and this is the scientist you talk to if you want to awaken your Dofu. Then we got Drip Mama, and it tells you to kill 500 NPCs on the island to awaken a portal into the Dough King's world. Then we got a Sweet Crafter who's on the exact same island. When you give this NPC a total of 10 conjured cocoa and a God's Chalice, they'll give you a Sweet Chalice. And this is what you use to turn the Cake Prince into the Dough King. Moving on to the Castle on the Sea, you have a buttload of NPCs on this island, but most of them you've already met before. You got the Lunovan NPC, which is actually a new NPC, and you have to defeat 5 elite pirates to interact with this NPC. Once you do that, you'll receive a pretty helmet accessory. Next up is Plogster, and I think you guys know what he does already. Then we got the Butler NPC. He gives you hints on how to get Observation V2. Then we got Takamura. Give you the Jaw Shield after you kill 5 players in a public server with the Player Hunter quest active. Then we got the Aura Editor, Fiona, and the Water Kung Fu Teacher, Dark Step Teacher, Mad Scientist, Darok the Sharkman, Martial Arts Teacher, Sabi, Elite Hunter. Then we got the Player Hunter NPC, which gives you a quest for killing a random player on the server. And each quest that's completed, you will get a total of 20,000 belly and 50 million XP. Then we got the Remove Blox Fruit NPC. It removes your Blox Fruit. Damn, that was a lot of NPCs on just one island. Moving on to the Temple of Time, we got the Mysterious Force NPC, and this lets you unlock your race to V4. Then we got the Ancient One NPC, and this is also an NPC to awaken your race to V4. Then we got the Mirage Island, which is a secret island that many people don't know about. This is an island that spawns as a random sea event, but it only happens on the 3rd sea. We have one of the most powerful NPCs in the game, the Advanced Fruit Dealer. He has a way higher chance of spawning in a bunch of different fruits. Like the regular fruit dealer, it just has to have a minimum of 3 fruits in stock, but for the Advanced Fruit Dealer, that's 7. And you also have a higher chance of legendary fruits being in stock. He also restocks every 2 hours compared to the normal 4-hour restock time of the normal Blox Fruit Dealer.